Hello and welcome to Gridbusters. So today what I want to talk about is cable. It's kind of boring subject, but really critical. And this is like one of these things that has held me up a little bit in the ordering process, because there's like lots of information out there on the correct inverters to get, solar panels. But when it comes to cable, it's a little bit more difficult, and it's not the kind of thing you can just pick up from your local kind of home improvement store or DIY store. So I've been kind of shopping around for it rather. And I had some shipped in from China just as a sort of test, because I'm going to need cable obviously to hook up the batteries. I'm going to need other cable, which is going to be, to hook up from the batteries to the inverter. I'm even, this bench power supply I purchased over here didn't come with any cables. I need to make up cables for that. One of the first things I have noticed, and let me just get some snips so I can cut through that, and let's just see. Okay, of course my snips are upstairs. So there we go. Let me just cut through these cable ties and we can take a look at some of this cable I've got. Here we go. So the first thing I've noticed is with this type of cable is this, as an example, this blue cable here and this black cable here. I ordered these from China, and when you order it, you can't actually feel what the cable is like, because let me just cut the last cable tie off here. There we go. This cable here is very kind of like rigid. It's I don't know, it feels very, very stiff, whereas this cable here is super flexible. I can easily tie a knot in it, very similar to like an extension cord you might have in your house, whereas this kind of cable is kind of similar to the kind of cable you use when you rewire your house. So kind of fine for like a permanent installation. But something you might be moving around a bit, like batteries and things, not so good, I don't think. I wanted something with a bit more play in it, and when you order online, you kind of like feel what the cable is like. So I ordered some cable here, silicon cable. This is from a German company. I forget the name of it. I will put a link to it in the description. I'm here in France at the moment, I had to find somewhere in Europe. I mean, I could have ordered it from China, but yeah, this took like 2.5 weeks to arrive, and I didn't want to have to wait 2.5 weeks just for like a sample. So this came in a couple of days, and I'm happy with it. This is good quality cable. So I'm going to be ordering probably 20 or 30 meters of each color. Different thicknesses as well of cable, and I'll go through the different thicknesses of the cable and exactly how that all works in a separate video. But what we also need to be able to do is we need to be able to put connectors on the ends of these cables. So the idea is you would have a connector on the end. Let me just film that so you can see that. So you'd have a connector like that on the end of the cable, so then you can hook it into your battery and bolt it into your battery. And in order to do that, you need to use a special crimping tool. So I have purchased a hydraulic crimping tool. Here it is. Never used one before. This is the first time I've even got it out of the box. Don't really know how this works. There's all sorts of parts. It'd be interesting. So we'll see how that works and try and get that working today. So the first thing I want to actually do is make up a couple of cables for the bench power supply. So the bench power supply over here. So this is the bench power supply, and this is what we'll be using just to charge the batteries when we're building them. And it comes with 2 output terminals here, as you can see. And I have also bought a couple of cables, but I'm not very happy with these cables. They're very So I had to buy these cables separately. The cable on them is really, really thin. It's, you know, it's not great. But the idea is that you would pull that off, put that on there, and tighten that up. And then with the crocodile clips, you can use that just to charge your battery. Very similar to like a car battery charger, I guess. But this is only going to be used, let me just put this back here. This is only going to be used when we're actually just building the battery. So what we're going to do is we're going to assemble the battery here on the bench just to top balance the battery and to charge the battery initially to get everything set up and all the battery cells all working together. And then once they are top balanced and once the pack is fully charged, then I will dismantle it again and put it into the actual battery box itself. So the first port of call is I'm going to cut some cables, the correct length for that I see fit. I'm going to use this cable here. I forget the actual thickness of this cable. I will measure it in a minute. And let's get cutting and crimping. So, what cable is this? Let me see. I don't know what size it is. Okay. I think it's 15mm. But I think the idea is that the inner core, the copper inner core, will fit into this ring lug here. So at the moment it won't fit because the outer core it's actually exactly the same size. So we need to cut away the blue outer core so that we can put it inside and then crimp it shut. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is work out how long I want these cables to be. So I want these to be nice long cables for charging batteries. In the day it might be on the floor and my bench power supply might be up here. So I'm going to say, I'm going to give it like maybe, I think that would be good. How long actually is this cable? Maybe I should just use half of this cable for this project. Maybe that's too long. Yeah, I think that would be too long. Okay, so let's see how long it would be. So if it's over here, if it's down over there. Yep, so I'm going to go with that length there. So I've got these cable cutters here. First time I'm using these new cable cutters. Oh, okay. So when cutting cable, it's really important to have a square cut. You don't want a cut that's kind of like an angle or anything like that. I was recommended these particular wire cutters from Andy on the Off-Grid Garage. Great channel, go and check it out. I learned a lot from him actually. So yeah, definitely recommend these cutters. Okay, so I guess the first thing we're going to need to do, this is like I said, the first time I've done this, is we need, let me just get a close-up of this so you can see exactly what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to need to do, I think, is I need to cut the outer core. Easier said than done. See, I don't want to cut the inner strands. my first time cutting this cable, so there we go. So I haven't cut all the way through, but I'm just bending it now with the pliers. There we go, and that's broken it. And hopefully I haven't cut any of the inner core. Hopefully I've just got the insulation. Yay! Okay. So there we go. Okay, so that is my first ever strip back of this cable. And luckily I didn't cut any of the inner core. So let's see how well this fits. Oh, wish I'd got the bell. Okay. Well, that fits pretty well. So I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, that's how it fits. Quite happy with that. Now, obviously we'll need to crimp that, and I will heat shrink to go over that. So let's see what heat shrink we have in stock. I did buy some. I haven't actually checked to see what will fit. So let's go and rummage around and find some heat shrink. So heat shrink is like a plastic tubing which you can put over joins, so like where the cable meets the metal section, so where these two meet. And you can see there's a little bit of copper there exposed. So what we can do is we can put a bit of plastic sleeving over it, and then you can heat it up with a heat gun or a flame, and it will shrink back and actually strengthen the joint. But obviously it also stops air getting into the joint as well, and yeah, it also makes it look quite neat as well. So that's what heat shrink is. So I've got some, I was in an electronics shop in the UK, electrical wholesalers actually, and they had some huge, massive heat shrink, which I thought was brilliant because this is really, really big heat shrink. And I'm actually going to use this for heat shrinking the handles of my tools. So things like my spanners and screwdrivers and things like this, which is super important when you're working on batteries, because the last thing you want to do is be like tightening up a bolt with a ratchet or a spanner or something and drop it and make a short across two terminals in the battery, because you can destroy the battery and start a fire. So I thought I would use this heat shrink to put over the handles of some of my metal tools to help protect against that. Now, one thing that is straight away very clear is I don't have the right color heat shrink, and I don't have the right kind of heat shrink. I don't think I do. No, so I need to order some heat shrink. So I'm just going to use black and red for now. Well, actually, I'm going to use black on both of these, or it's going to get really confusing. Again, I ordered this from Alibaba, and I just wanted to see if it was going to be the right kind of thing before I ordered a whole ton of it. It's one of the things of ordering stuff online. Sometimes, I miss going to shops and actually being able to touch things and feel things and just look at them and go, oh yeah, that's right, that's not right. Quite often when I'm ordering things like this online now, I have to order just a sample and then go, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool, and then I can order like 100 meters of it or 50 meters of it. So as an example, this is fine, this is good. So I can now go back and order a whole load from the supplier, but it's kind of like a bit of a pain. Where are my scissors? Oh dear, all my tools aren't in here at the moment. That's not great. All right, okay, I'll just use some snips. So I think that should be long enough. Should have put this on first. So there we go. So I need to make sure I do that on the other end. So So, and then the heat shrink will go over the terminal like that. I guess up to about there. And then I would heat shrink it once it's crimped. Okay. So, I could have done that slightly shorter. I can see it doesn't quite, there's a little bit of there's about a 1 millimeter gap there. So I guess that should have been about a millimeter shorter, but I think that will be okay. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I need to crimp this. So I have this hydraulic crimper. So what I'm going to do is just going to place this cable here and work out how this crimping tool actually works. Oh, get to peel off the plastic. Satisfying. Brand new. So it has this on, off. I'm not quite sure how this, oh okay, so these are the dies, I guess, for different size crimps. Right. Okay, so I think we need a 25 millimeter die. So let's see what these are. It's 35. 25 and 25. Okay. So guessing that goes there. And that one I'm guessing goes there. Okay. And I think what I saw on YouTube somebody saying that it's a lot easier if you put this in a clamp, because trying to clamp it like this on a desk is kind of hard. So I'm going to move over to the clamp and we'll see how easy it is to do it in a clamp. Okay, so I've got my clamp here because you need to put quite a lot of force on this when you're crimping, and it's kind of like, you know, you need to hold the cable with the connector on, and you also need 2 hands to crimp it. So you kind of like need 3 hands or 2 people. So why not use a clamp? It's one of the reasons why I got this clamp actually. So let me think. Okay, so I can't actually move that there. So let's move that further out. So we can, okay. I think that will work. Okay, this is a historic moment, as Dr. Emmett Brown would say. I'm about to do my first ever crimp. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to put it in, I guess I just put it in here. I don't know if I should do 1 or 2 crimps. Oh, yes, there we go. Is that right? Oh, I guess it's not a historic moment. Okay, let's just, oh, okay. Okay, so you need to turn this knob to on. I had it on off. I had it there, so I've just turned this knob around. So I'm just going to put that back in the clamp. I wanted to show all the mistakes I'm making as well, because you know. Okay, so I'm going to put it here. Whoop. I don't know how. Well, that looks okay. I don't know if I should do a second crimp here. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? I'm going to do a second crimp. Okay. Belt and braces, as they say on Skill Builder. Okay. Hey, I done my first crimp. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. That is completely, that's tight. That is not gonna come off. That's brilliant. Wow. I wish, yeah, that's brilliant. I can see why people use these. Okay, so let's get some heat shrink on here next. Okay, so I now have my first ever crimped battery cable. I'm not sure if I should have heat shrinked the metal part. I don't like that because it's a little bit uneven at the top. It doesn't look straight. I mean, the connector is straight, it's just the heat shrink at the top. So I think the next one I will do like halfway down. I guess it doesn't really matter that much. But anyway, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So the idea is now, if we just go around to the back of the power supply and take off this stupid little toy cable. There we go. God, that's a proper size cable, isn't it? Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. Made my first 2 cables, my first ever crimps. Made the cables for the bench power supply, which we'll be using in the next video when we start putting the battery together. So yeah, it wasn't that hard. I was fretting about it and worried about it, done much harder things. That wasn't very hard at all. So hope you enjoyed that video, guys. It's still relatively light outside and quite sunny. Let me show you how that looks. So still got some lovely sun here in France. And there's the workshop. So I hope you found that useful. In the next video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be unpacking all the battery cells and we're going to start putting the actual battery together on the bench. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.